everybody, and welcome back to the Daily Creative Challenge in Adobe Illustrator. So exciting to see you here. And of course, if you're watching from YouTube, remember to head to behance.net/live or b.net/Adobe Live, whatever you prefer. But that's the place where I can actually say hi to you live. And in fact, let me go ahead and say hi to all the wonderful people in the chat. Ciao, Fabio. Nice to see you. Anthony from Suffolk, UK. We got more UK. As you know, probably, or you don't know, I'm actually based in the UK, in Manchester. Wade, nice to see you in the chat. Keep your eyes peeled for Wade and his very useful links. Adnan, Antonia, everybody, welcome back to today challenge number 2. Carol, Stony, Aja, fantastic. Nice to see everybody here. I've seen that there is someone from the UK already, but please let me know where are you watching from. I'm always incredibly excited to learn where everybody is watching from. I love our wonderful community. And talking about community, today I'm just gonna throw you a link right away, which is our Discord, our community, and here it is. So it's bit.ly/AI Discord. So that's not an L, that's an I, as Adobe Illustrator Discord, and that will bring you into the wonderful world of Discord. So let me jump into my computer real quick so I can make sure that I can share that with you. And here it is, hopefully coming up real quick. I'm gonna refresh it so we can look at yesterday challenges as well. So here they are, and got a little, here we are on the other side of the screen. So that's the place where you can actually join that community. It's an international community of designers, professional, where we share our work. And as you can see, yesterday we created some very cute little icons, little ghost spooky icons, and we have a little ghost there and some more general icons. That's the place where I'll show you how to share your work in order to receive feedback from the amazing community, and of course have a chat and have some fun with everybody. But in the meantime, since we're here on my desktop, I'm just gonna go ahead and jump into our landing page, which is behance.net/challenge/illustrator. By jumping in the home page, you can click on the big blue button in order to be reminded about all the wonderful Illustrator creative challenges in order to spark in your skills and learning new techniques in Illustrator together. And if you're just joining today for the first time, that's absolutely fine. Each challenge is independent and is revealed here on the different card. As you can see, today we're going to be learning how to create an ad banner, and we're going to be playing with the type tool, the gradient tool, Recolor, but I'm going to throw in a little bit more as well. We're going to make it fun. We're going to create blending modes, use transparency. And in fact, what I like to do is also, first of all, show you out that by clicking on the Get Starter button, you'll be able to download the starter file. I've provided for you a challenge, which is giving you access to a free templates of a ton of banner size. So if I actually jump into Illustrator over here, you'll see that you will have access of all the different sizes here, and they have all the specs. So all the different sizes are actually named correctly and appropriately, and they have the little instruction with the actual size of the artboard. And if you wish to hide these instructions, all you have to do is to head to the layers panel, and from here simply click on the eye icon in order to toggle the visibility of the instruction, and they go away. So you can right away click on the artwork layers there, which will contain our artwork, and we can start working to whatever artboard you prefer. But as I said, I was going to give you a little bit of a preview of what we're going to be creating. And here it is. This is going to go also on my Instagram, which is at @IamClady. I tend to share. So I'm going to try to squeeze in a little bit more of content here. We're going to do the background. I'm going to show you how to recolor it depending on the product. So once you create your advert and is ready to go, you can just simply swap photo and swap color real quick. But I also show you how to create something like a quick logo like that. Why not? Hopefully we will have the time. Those are the different outputs. So let's get started and let's start creating. Now, before I'm going to start to dive into the actual design, I'm going to go ahead back in the chat, make sure that everything is okay. Let's see if there is any question. We can see that there is Canada, Seattle in the house, Ontario, Pakistan, Florida, Brazil, France, UK. Beautiful. Susan, where in the UK? I'm in Manchester. Carol, great earring. Thank you. Those are actually from Brazil. Since we have Brazil in the house, I got them a few years ago in Brazil. And we have Wade with the wonderful links. Beautiful. So far, so good. No question. If you do have a question, a comment, or anything, make sure to keep it in the chat. If I don't read it, feel free to post it again so I'll be able to read it. But let's get started. There is a lot that I want to show you. So the reason why I have all the instructions here is because we can pick whatever we want. So for instance, let's start with a 240 by 400 pixels. And now that we know exactly what is the size of your artboard, we can go ahead and hide it. But what happens if you're working with an artboard that doesn't have a size? You can use the shortcut Shift O. By doing so, we can access the artboard tool and clicking once on your artboard. Then go into the properties panel. Here, you'll be able to see that the artboard is actually 240 pixels by 400 pixels. So there are ways in which you can learn the size of your artboard, or simply press the enter or return key. And here we go. You have the artboard options and information coming up there as well. Now let's press on OK, and let's press the M key on your keyboard. That will allow you to access the rectangle tool, which is also located here at the left of the workspace into the toolbar. And then we're going to go ahead and zoom in at the corner intersecting one of the corner of our artboard and click once. And all we have to do here is to make sure that we have the right size. So we know that it's 200 by 240 pixels, and then press on OK. Oops, that probably wasn't the right one. Let me see what I've done there. Let's redo this. That was definitely not correct. So 200 by 240 pixels. I wonder what happened there, because that's supposed to be the right size. 200 by 240 pixels. So it looks like that this is the correct size. Or by 400 pixels. 240 by 400. I'm sorry, I'm dyslexic, but at least we know. Let's do it together again. So at least we know that we're doing the right thing. Otherwise, it's confusing. Here we go. Let's click once, and it's 240 by 400 pixels, and click on OK. And here it is. Now we have our rectangle that is fully covering our artboard. I was like, what happened? Yeah, 400 is the height. Fantastic. Now, in order to create the lovely gradient that we've seen in the preview, all we have is to press the letter G to access the gradient tool. Now, as you know, if you work with me before, I love to use the keyboard a lot. So M is for the rectangle tool, G for the gradient tool. But don't forget that you can access these tools here in the toolbar. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in and show you. This is the icon that will allow you to access the gradient tool. Now that once we access the gradient tool, I'm going to go ahead into the properties panel and go ahead and select a gradient type. And in particular, I'm going to be working with a free form gradient. Once we select the gradient and we select the free form gradient, we're going to be able to add color stops inside our gradient, inside our shape, simply by clicking inside the bounding box of the shape. And in order to change the color, we have different way of doing so, but the easiest one is to double click and then select any color you want from your swatches. Now, I've also provided a color palette for you. If we go ahead from our layers, we can see that we have a color palette here, and make sure to unlock it so it's not locked. And then what you can do is to click and drag over to select all these colors, and then head to the Windows menu and select swatches. And then if you click on these little folder icons in order to create a new color group, and we're going to call this one challenge 02, make sure to select selected artwork and click on OK. And as you can see, you will have a new group with all the colors that belong on the color palette. And that will be so much useful, because now once we jump into our gradient again, here it is. So we go back to our shape and press the letter G to edit the gradient. Now that we do have the actual color from the color palette, all we have to do is to double click, and you will see that they will appear here inside the options. So we can actually go ahead and add any color from the swatches menu, or you can add any color you want. And of course, you can always create a different tint of colors simply by different hue by changing the values here using the different options that we have in our panel. Now go ahead and simply choose one of the colors that we used as many as you want. And the trick that I had there in order to create the white space in the middle where we can place our photo is to create some white spot. And remember, that's another cool thing. I don't know if many of you know inside Illustrator, but if you select, let's say I want to create another color, another magenta, if you select the magenta color spot and then go ahead and add another color spot, it will replicate the last color that you have selected. So we can do the same perhaps and add another yellow over here. Simply by clicking on the yellow first and then adding a new point. And if you want to delete a color from the color stop or from the shape, simply click on the color stop and drag it outwards outside the bounding box. And by doing so, you will be able to eliminate any unwanted color, just like so. So now we have our little gradient. I will probably make sure to add a few more of this white spot because I really want to have more of a white space over here. Just like so. And so I have some gradient coming from the top, and I will have a white space in the middle and some gradient at the bottom. So I have some contrast if I wanted to add a button or a text. And in fact, let's jump right in and add a button. In order to jump from the gradient tool into the rectangle tool, again, simply press the letter M, and we're going to be able here to go ahead and create another rectangle. And I'm just going to create a white rectangle, which is going to be our call to action where we can actually add some text. Then select the type tool, and from here, click and drag to open our text box here. And then from the properties panel, you can select any character family that you would like. Something that I find really beautiful when working on buttons, it's something like Bebas or Bebas New. Is a font that is a display font, so it's nice and easy to read. And remember, when you're creating buttons, that's something that is really important. So go ahead and write something like shop now. And if you see that the text is missing, now bear in mind, we are working with a text area because we can see two handles, one on the right side and one at the bottom. So that will allow us to go ahead and stretch the area of the text. Now, if you want to use the box in order to resize your text, you can do so by double clicking on this little handle that is like right here above my head. Here it is. If you double click on this, we are going to switch from an area type into a point type. And look what happens. If I go ahead now and stretch and use the bounding box to change the size of the area, we're going to go ahead and resize the text. So if you do that, make sure to hold the shift key so you can resize it proportionally. And remember, the text is still editable, so you can go ahead and change whatever you wrote in here. If you perhaps want to add an exclamation mark or anything you want, if you want to delete it, even if you modify it and stretch it, it's still editable. Fantastic. Now what I'm going to do is to select the text and hold shift and select the rectangle. And I'm going to go ahead from the align, select align to artboard, and I'm going to align it horizontally so we make sure that everything is aligned. But that's where the image start to come into place. So if you do have a specific product, go ahead and select a product of your choice. I would advise something with a white background. If you do not have a specific product, you can do like me, just simply jump into our libraries. We can go ahead and create a new libraries. I'm going to call it challenge 02 and click on create. Then click on the down pointing arrow and select Adobe stock. From here, we can select and search whatever we want. In this case, I was fixed on roller skates, so I'm going to go ahead and select roller skates. But also, I'm going to add another keyword, which is the word isolated. Now, by using the word isolated, we'll be able to look for images that have a white background, which is exactly what we want. So the actual photo is isolated. And whenever you can go ahead and scroll and find any image of your choice. I'm going to go ahead and start with this blue one. Simply click on the plus in order to add it to your library. And you can go back and search as many times as you want. So I simply go back and search, and I just wanted to add a few options. So hopefully we can try and have fun with few color options. So we have these blue and red, and then we have these green and black as well. And let's see if we can find another one here that is exciting. I remember that I think I've seen something that it was like turquoise and yellow. If not, that will be enough. I think I already have that photos, but you can always go ahead and search more images also on the actual Adobe stock website and then add it back in. Fantastic. So let's go ahead and go back into our library, and all you have to do is to click and drag in order to bring the image in. As you can see, the image is quite big, so all you have to do is to click and drag the corner of the bounding box, and to make sure that we don't distort it, we're going to hold the shift key. And once we put it inside on top of our banner, how do we achieve that transition? So how do we get rid of that area of the sharp edges of the white? Well, all we have to do is to head to the properties panel, and with your image selected, head to the opacity, click on opacity, and from the blending mode, let's change it to multiply. And as you can see, magically, we are able to basically flatten and blend all the white pixel into the color below, so we have the beautiful gradient coming through. But what happens if now we want to use the same color of the photos, because now this color don't really go well together? Well, super easy. We have the super amazing workspace, the Recolor workspace. So all we have to do is to select the gradient, then head under edit, and once we choose edit, we can select edit colors and Recolor Artwork. Now from this panel here, we can select the color theme picker, and we're going to go ahead and choose our photo. And as you can see, the color picker picks the color from our photos, and we can change the distribution of the colors, and that's super magic, because once you create a gradient that you like, you will be able to adapt the color to the image as many times as you want, simply by picking the image with the color picker. Now real quick, I promised that I was going to show you how to do that logo in like 3 seconds, so I want to get that done. I know that we have few minutes left, so let's go ahead and press on the type tool, and the text that I was using there was called Asier Bat. They're all available on font.adobe.com, and you can also search it here under the character panel. And I just used the word skate, something very simple. And then all I've done here, I changed the fill of the color of the text to white. And then I went and click and hold on the rectangle tool in order to show the other shapes. And I'm going to select the ellipse tool, and I'm going to draw an ellipse on top of the word skates, just like so. So remember, the shape has to be on top. Then with the selection tool, I'm going to click and drag over both the text and the shape. And then I'm going to head under object, envelope distort, and make with top object. Here it is. So envelope distort, make with top object. And look what happens. Once I click, the text get distorted inside the actual shape. Isn't that super cool? If you want, you can add another little circle there, or another ellipse just as a decoration around the text. Maybe give it a little bit more of a stroke if you want to. And then you can go ahead and place that on top of your banner, and boom, we're done. If you want, you can also add more information. I think that I had a little bit more of text going on into the other advert. In this case, it's just some details regarding the product. But what I wanted to show you here, I'm just going to go ahead and borrow this image by holding the Alt key in order to duplicate it, is to show you how you can really recolor your gradient with any color you want starting from your image. So in this case, all I have to do is to select the artboard tool and hold the option key to duplicate our artboard. And here it is. I'm going to go ahead and click on OK. And then I'm going to delete this image, bring back the image of the skate that we already choose from our Adobe stock. And all we've done before, select the gradient, edit colors, Recolor Artwork, and again, use the color theme picker to select the color, and boom, the gradient is exactly the same gradient, but is now recolored from the same color of the photo. So it picked up the cyan, the yellow, and the brown. I would strongly recommend to have a play with the prominent color, the distribution of the colors, especially because here, we have the white text, so we really want to make sure that we don't have too much white at the top in the gradient, just so there is enough contrast with the other colors. But what happens if you want to switch the order of the colors? Well, I'm going to take you one step further. All you have to do is to click on advanced options, and from here you also be able to click and drag in order to swap the colors as you want. So you can go ahead, click and drag, and change the colors as you prefer. Isn't that super amazing? Like, it took us less than 15 minutes to create an advert that is appealing, and it can be used over and over again with any image that you like and recolored. Fantastic. So I'm glad Carol says, love that. You can watch the replay. If you think I've gone too fast, I wanted to show you something really cool. You can watch the replay as many times as you want. You have access to all these different templates. You can resize, of course, very easily. Again, all you have to do is to simply click and drag by alt option in order to duplicate whatever asset you want, in this case the gradient, and then use the bounding box in order to resize it. And again, if you wish to edit your gradient, you can always press the letter G, because now the colors are going to be a little bit too tight, so you can go ahead and move the white, and if you need, even add more white, so you create more white space in your images. So you can do that in all the different sizes that I provided. Now, in order to export your artboard ready for the web, the shortcut is Option Command E. That will be Alt Control E if you're working on a Windows machine, and from here you can go ahead and select whatever artboard you want. So in this case, I'm going to go ahead and select the finer artboard that I've created. You can select a folder. In this case, I'm going to go ahead and create a folder in my desktop, select choose, and you can go ahead and make sure that we open location after export. You can create a folder if you want, and I'm going to give it a prefix. I'm going to call it skate advert. Fantastic. Then all you have to do is to select export artboard, and here it is. It's already opened up for us, ready to be viewed. And those are the different adverts with the color and with the gradient. And we're talking about Discord, and I'm going to give you a quick shout out on how to join Discord again. So it's bit.ly/AI Discord in order to share and get a feedback, get a chat, ask for advice, and show your work. All you have to do, again, once you head on Discord, let me jump back in my computer, is to simply select the image from your machine or drag them into Discord. So once I'm here in Discord, make sure to select the challenge channel and click on the plus icon and then upload file. And in this case, I have them there on the desktop. You can also select more than one image simply by holding the shift key while selecting your images and click on open. And you can also give it a little bit of a comment. I'm going to call it challenge 02 or whatever you prefer. If you have a question, of course I won't be able to spell it right. If you have a question, you can also pop a question right there, and here it is. I'm just gonna go ahead and upload the rest. So here they are, ready for your feedback and your thoughts on Discord. I know that we have just 1 minute. I just want to show you this real quick because we didn't have time yesterday. We have Adnan with a little Illustrator icon. That's super cute. I want to show you how to create also these images for our Behance page. So what I usually suggest to do is to go ahead and create an artboard that is 1400 pixels large. So you can also use here the width 1400, and you can make it as high as you want. Here it is. I'm going to click on OK now that I moved it. And all I'm going to do here is to simply select all my final images. So we can place the images from Illustrator with the amazing shortcut, which is our Shift Command P. So I'm going to go ahead and select the images that I've just exported. So I know that I have my JPEG file here, and you can resize it. Don't forget to use the Shift key when resizing so you don't distort them. And here they are. And you can, again, like we did before, align them horizontally to your artboard. You can use a background color if you want, but again, you can go ahead and export this one exactly like we did before. So again, Option Command E, you can give it a name, you can do whatever you want, just select the correct artboard. If we see it, it doesn't look like we see the artboard over here. Maybe I'm missing it. Let's see, that's artboard 13. I know we have 1 minute left, so for some reason it's not showing the artboard right now. Maybe I'll have to save the file. I don't know what's going on, but the main thing that I wanted to show you is that for you to create an image that will display full screen on your Behance page is to create an artboard that is 1400 pixels wide. That was the main thing that I wanted to show you here. You can also go ahead and perhaps give it a background just by using the rectangle tool and give it any color that you like, any color fill that you like, that you think will work best with your campaign. And you can export it like that as a single image. I know unfortunately it's time to say goodbye. I'm going to have to go ahead and save, but I look forward to see you on Discord. Make sure to submit your images. And of course, I'll see you tomorrow for another Daily Creative Challenge, and stay tuned for more fun at Adobe Live. Goodbye, everybody, and thank you so much for joining me.